What's up YouTube? This is going to be your guide on how to use Thundurus and Thundurus Therian form in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, put it below in the comment section of the video. If you enjoy these, they help you out, drop a like, and let's get into it. So Thundurus, let's start with this set here. So with Thundurus, I'm going to do the normal, the base form, and then I'll do the Therian form. So I'll sort of like be going back and forth between them because they are kind of similar Pokemon, but they do have different abilities and such. So looking at our normal base form Thundurus' stats, we got a nice special attack stat and a good speed stat too. And its attack stat is reasonable too, but it's mostly used as a special attacker. So the abilities we have here are Prankster and Defiant. So Defiant obviously is more for a physical attacker, so you're going to see Prankster being used a lot because it's just handy to be able to use those status moves first. So for more of a, I'd say more for a focus single sort of build here for this one. You could try it in doubles play if you like. It can be a speedy, nasty plot setup Pokemon. So with Prankster, you're going to get that priority, and that's going to allow you to get that nasty plot up and boost your special attack quickly by 2 stages. It still has good base speed anyway, so not like incredible base speed, but it's still got pretty nice base speed, so you'll probably find you're going to outspeed most things anyway, but it can be handy to have. The other moves we've got are there, Thunderbolt, which works pretty well for it. I like Terra Blast on there for Terra Blast Water. I think that's quite a good defensive and offensive Terra on there because, you know, if you see any rock type or ground type Pokemon you normally can't do a lot to, you can use Terra Blast Water on them and do like tons of damage. And also any ice type moves aimed your way, you can obviously sponge that being a Terra type water, which is nice. And speaking of ice types and rock types and steel types, Focus Blast really sort of carries over that coverage too. It's a bit, obviously it's a bit shaky, but it's very, very powerful after a nasty plot, and it already has very high base power. So that would be a way you can use Thundurus. Another move you possibly could put on there is either Terra Blast Grass, I would say. That could work too. Or you could even go, it actually does get Grass Knot. Grass Knot isn't too bad because there's a lot of heavy Pokemon, heavy legendary Pokemon. So that could work like Groudon and stuff like that. So that could work very well for them. So it's sort of up to what rule set you're playing or what you think you're going to come across and those sort of things. So there's lots of things you can do there for that sort of last sort of slot move. The item you could give it, I like Life Orb, just even more damage output. It's going to be pretty nice in there on top of the nasty plot. Or you could do Citrus Berry. That's pretty good. That's going to give you a bit of recovery back there after setting up nasty plot. More focus for singles play here. You could give it heavy boots, heavy duty boots, because it is a flying type. It's going to be annoying swapping it into stealth rocks and other stuff like that. So that could be a useful item for it as well for Thundurus. So that's how I would go about running a singles. I'd say more of a singles sweeping nasty plot set. You could, once again, you could try this in doubles. I'm not saying it can't work, but it can do some other stuff in doubles, compared to the sweeping, right? So we'll get to that in a bit. Okay, let's get on to the next set here. So for Thundurus Therian, this can actually do a couple of different things. It's got a fat special attack stat. Like when you compare, it's got 145 base compared to this. So it's got another 20 in special attack, which is, really, really good. And it's a bit slower though. It is a bit slower, but you can make up for that with choice items like Choice Scarf. Now for the abilities, this only has one ability, which is Volt Absorb, and that's it. It doesn't even have, like this has like Prankster and Defiant. This only has Volt Absorb. So just one ability, so you can't pick anything there. I think it makes a fairly good scouting Choice Specs, Choice Scarf Pokemon for sure. Or pivot on your team. So we got Volt Switch and Thunderbolt, which work very, very nicely together. So you can use that to scout out and do some heavy damage too. And Thunderbolts just are going to be a more powerful electric move, and you can carry both of them. There's nothing wrong with that at all, especially on choice items. I've got Psychic on there. Psychic is more of a coverage move, And then I've put Terra Blast Water onto there. I like water on this Pokemon because you've got the Terra type water, and then if someone tries to use an electric move on you, you're actually going to heal you, so it's going to be perfect. Or it's going to deter them from using an electric move on you, so it's going to be very, very nice one to go for. Plus, as kind of like the other Thundurus here, Terra Blast Water gives you great coverage too, so you could even use this on a rain team, which would be great. And then you could, if you were to use it on a rain team, you could always swap it up to Thunder and things like that. Because if you got the rain dance going, and that could be very good, and then you could sort of swap it up, just more specifically for rain, you could then swap this up to something like Weather Ball or something, and then you might not have to have Terra Blast. So there are other things you can actually do with that too. It also gets Grass Knot too for some extra coverage. So it can do quite a few different things there. For singles, you could drop it back to Heavy Duty Boots as an item too. I was thinking that would be okay for that. Same kind of thing there. Or you could even give it Assault Vest as well. So that's another item that can definitely work on there. With the EVs, I'd probably keep them the same anyway. Max Special Attack and Max Speed, Modest. Or you could give it Timid if you're not having, Choice Scarf or something like that. So that's another way that you could go ahead of using this Pokemon. Some other terrors. I'm trying to think of some other ones that would be useful. I think Water's the best one on this, honestly. Definitely on the Therian form, that's the best one. I don't really see the need to use any others. Look, you could go Electric if you really wanted to. If you want to power up your Electric type move, you could definitely do that. On this Thundurus, well, I guess you could always go for like Grass, or you could go for Electric as well. You might be able to go for Fighting if you want to power up Focus Blast. There are some other ones, but definitely for this one, I would only really consider Water or maybe Electric, because I feel like they're the best ones for it. And it's already got a good special defensive stat too, so with Assault Vest, you're getting some good damage, and you're able to tank a lot of moves too, so I feel like that's going to work rather nicely. Let's have a look at some doubles or VGC style sets now. Okay, so Thundurus, normal base form. Let's do some EVs on the fly for this one. So I was thinking I could do, I could do like either a few different ways of using this. So for this, we want to keep Prankster, obviously. We definitely want to keep Prankster. I feel like Covert Cloak is a great item on there because people are going to try and flinch you or whatnot, because this Pokemon's very good at setting things up. Not really doing lots of damage, but you're going to be making use of Prankster a lot here. And I feel like that's going to be quite handy. So let's see if we can get we can spread the EVs. I'm gonna try and make an even sort of build here for it. So let's go Bold Nature. Yeah, let's go Bold Nature here. So spreading out the EVs kind of all over it. So we got max health, of course, 156 in defense and 100 in special defense. This is going to give it all-round bulk on the physical and special side, because you're going to be more of a setup Pokemon for this one too. So Prankster Taunt's very, very good. You'll notice I've got Terra-type Dark there too. That's pretty good. So if you come across like opposing Prankster Pokemon, you can counter that too, which is annoying. I mean, this used to see a lot more usage, right? Until Prankster got heavily nerfed. So it's still alright, but it's probably not as good as it used to be. But yeah, being a dark type as well, you can kind of counter, and even counter opposing Thundurus too, or other Pokemon like that. It gets Electro Web, which is pretty good because you can drop the opponent's speed by both of the opponent's speed by one stage, which is a handy move. Another good one is Eerie Impulse. Mostly sort of a meme kind of move, but in this case is actually pretty good, because you can drop the opponent's special attack by 2 stages, which is really, really handy with Prankster. So any special attackers that are going to come out are going to have their special attack dropped by 2 stages, and that's going to make a very big difference. And of course, the other move, it's a very, very good Prankster Rain Dance user. So if you've got a team, stuff like Pelipper, Politoed, or whatever, Kyogre, this is very great for setting up the rain up again, and then it can go from there. You could even make it a little bit more offensive if you don't, maybe keep Eerie Impulse or something, or if you don't feel like you need Taunt, you could give it stuff like You could give it Weather Ball if you wanted to. So, and that would at least be a water type move, and that could be handy at giving you coverage and stuff as well. So that could be useful. If you even for a Sun team, you could even set Sunny Day up. This actually works too for a Sun if you want to set up a Sun team. So you just adjust that to Sunny Day, so it can do rain and sun. I feel like it's better for a rain team anyway, because its moves complement it a lot better. You know, especially if you wanted to put, like, say, Thunder on there as well, that could complement it a lot better. But still, it could definitely be a Sunny Day setter too, Pranks of Sunny Day. And if you wanted to, you give it Damp Rock or Heat Rock if you want to make that a bit longer. But it is a little bit prone to being, like, flinched and secondary effects there. Maybe even Taunted too, so you could... Maybe you want to run Mental Herb on there if you don't have Terra Dark. I don't know, like for other pranks to users, right? So just some other options you could go for it, and this gives us some pretty good bulk overall. I would say with Bold Nature. So that's an option. I'm trying to think of some other good options for Terra. I like Dark is pretty good on there. You could just go Electric on there if you wanted to as well, because that only makes you weak to one type then. So that could work. Or you could go Water as well. If you had, say you had Weather Ball on there, that could be a good defensive one. There's Nature as well. Good defensive Terra, and you could power up your Weather Ball. So that could be another one you could possibly use there for normal base Thundurus too. Let's have a look at the next double set. So for Therian, I've gone with an Assault Vest set here. I was sort of halfway through building it, but I thought, you know what, I'll build it on stream here. So, look, I feel like you could do even just an offensive build with this, like 252 EVs. Unless you're really worried about surviving specific moves or outspeeding Pokemon, you could kind of change that around. I think it's going to work pretty well for that. But I will say that I feel like this is probably more suited to doubles with all its little Prankster support moves than Thundurus Therian form. I feel this is a better in my opinion, this is a better singles Pokemon. But, you know, that's just my opinion. So with this move, though, it can work for doubles. So we've got Wild Bolt Storm. So Wild Bolt Storm is 100 base power, has a 20% chance to paralyze, and it can't miss in the rain, which is excellent. So use this on a rain team in doubles. Great. You know, that's going to be really good. Once again, here too, if you don't want Electro Web, you could put Wild Bolt Storm on this one too. Absolutely. That will work. I just thought I'd say that. Also, one thing I just wanted to touch on too, you can do Pranks the Thunder Wave as well. So you don't have to... that's something you could have, Pranks the Thunder Wave, but there are a lot of Pokemon which can get around there. There's a lot of ground-type Pokemon, and if there's someone Terra the Ground, or like Miraidon and other stuff like that. So I feel like it's probably not as good as it used to be. And of course, any other dark types and things like that. So I would be a little wary of that. You can still use it, but I don't think it's as good as it used to be. And also with all the other types of Pokemon that it used a lot. But I just thought I'd mention that. Back to Thundurus Therian. So Terra type Water, obviously, Volt Absorb works great. This I would use on a rain team. This is where I would definitely use the rain team for sure, and go from there. And set it up with you could even set it up with a water type partner and stuff. But I'll explain those teammates and stuff in a sec. So max speed, max special attack, timid nature, and it's going fast. It's got some good bulk to it. So we got Wild Bolt Storm, Volt Switch, Terra Blast Water, and Snarl. Alternatively, you could have Throat Spray on there as well. That could increase your special attack, and you could hit even harder. So, you know, that could be a good option that could work for this Pokemon, I would say. Another one could be even... You know, I was talking about the Choice Scarf one early. I think it was this one here. Like, yeah, back in the single sort of set. That can actually work there as well quite nicely. You might just adjust the moves. So, like, Wild Bolt Storm. I feel like Volt Switch, Wild Bolt are good for that. Terra Blast Water, I like that. I definitely like that too. And then you've got Timid Nature, so that's a good Choice Scarf Pokemon too. For singles or for doubles, right? As for Snarl, on the choice set, I don't know if I'd go for Snarl on a choice set, personally. I would probably pick something up like... It doesn't really have an expansive move pool, so here's some options you can have. I know that it gets... Yep, Sludge Bomb. You can have Sludge Bomb, which can be good for Fairy-type Pokemon. Definitely. Another one that can be a bit scummy, you can bring Dark Pulse. Just for coverage and just for flinching, for like Flutter Mane and things like that, that could be useful. So there are, or Ghost Pokemon, so there are that as an option. That could work. But yeah, it really, outside of its electric move and a Terra, it doesn't really get like tons and tons of other moves, of course. Maybe Grass Knot could work, but then... I don't know, for a rain team, you could also have Weather Ball. Definitely, you could have Weather Ball too, but then you'd have to adjust Terra Blast to something else. I would give it like another move, so we'll get rid of that. So, and we got Terra Blast, and let's say I gave it... I mean, Snarl isn't bad, I guess. It's not bad. I'm not saying it's terrible, but you probably don't want to be locked into it, I guess. It might help, but Snarl, I feel like Snarl's mostly better for support-style Pokemon rather than... a special sweeper, that sort of thing. Our last little EV is just, you could put in special defense or defense. It doesn't really matter too much there. So yeah, that's a set that I would run for doubles on Thundurus Therian. Water is the best. It always really is for Volt Absorb too. And even if you don't want a Terra, it's good because you can couple it with good teammates and some nice synergy, which I'll definitely get to in a sec. So let's do a couple of meme sets here, and then we're going to go on some good teammates, encounters, and other thoughts and stuff like that. Alright, so this is a set that I come up with. It's a true PIMPNITE special set, but it actually works kind of well. I tried it out. It's some good real surprise factor. So we've sort of looked at Thundurus being a special attacker, right? So I thought, let's have a look at its being, a chance of it being a physical attacker. Now... I noticed that it does get Swagger. I thought, ooh, that'd be a cool way of increasing its attack. Because its attack isn't that far... It's not really far off its special attack, right? It's only 10 base behind it. And I noticed it gets some powerful physical moves like Acrobatics and Supercell Slam. So I was thinking, maybe if we can go Swagger with Mirror Herbs, we can confuse the opponent, get a +2 in attack, and also consume our item. And then Acrobatics... will double in base power, and it'll be very, very powerful, and Terra flying on top of that too. So we can have that plus Supercell Slam. That's going to be a powerful electric type move. And then I thought Brick Break isn't too bad either for any steel type or like rock type Pokemon or normal type Pokemon or any screens or anything like that could be useful. Max attack and max speed, Jolly Nature. Now, I was thinking too, this could be interesting if you don't want to run Prankster because it's still pretty fast. You could actually have Defiant on there. So if you actually had a drop in your stat right, you're going to get a +2. So that could couple with Swagger on top of that as well. That could be crazy. Like you get Intimidated and Swagger or something. That could be really good. Or have a stat drop. So that could be like a little interesting sort of set that would really surprise the opponent. And it does work too. I've tried it. And I've swept some pretty standard teams with it. It's got a good surprise factor, but it's not always, it's not always gonna work, And it can somewhat be walled as well. Like it's a little bit shallow on its move for, but something interesting to look at there for a PIMPNITE special. Now we've got even a gimmicky one here. I thought I had to do a one for each of them. We've got an Electro Ball set. So Electro Ball is all based around how fast you are compared to the opponent or the target at that time. So I thought Agility Electro Ball could be interesting, but what happens if a ground type comes out? All right, we could set our own Rain Dancer and then go Weather Ball. So that way I wouldn't be walled by a ground type Pokemon either. And you could either have Terra Electric to power Electro Ball, or you could even have Terra Water with Volt Absorb too. Pop that Magnet on there for a thumping 1.2 times on your Electro Ball. And we got max special attack and max speed, Timid Nature. So a beautiful PIMPNITE special there sort of set. If you want some off-meta or meme sort of sets, you can try these ones out. Let's now have a look at some partners that could work well with Thundurus and its Therian form. Okay, so a good partner for singles or for doubles, it's always going to be, like I was going to say, Rapid Strike is used a lot. These work great, especially with the Therian form, because it has Volt Absorb, right? So any electric type moves aimed at Urshifu, boom, you can swap that in there. And they work well at covering each other's weaknesses too, because this one, you know, any ground or rock type Pokemon or ice type Pokemon, this is just going to destroy them, right? So it's got water and fighting type moves. I've done Urshifu Guide before if you want to check it out. You know, that's a very, very good partner for it. Especially for single, I would say for singles, definitely. And for doubles. Both formats there, that's going to work very nicely. I reckon Ogerpon would be pretty good too. Ogerpon Hearth would be pretty good. So Thundurus, Urshifu, and Ogerpon Hearthflame. That's a pretty good like mix of Pokemon there. So this can sort of this can cover like the flying, you know, the flying weakness there kind of nicely too. And then Urshifu can cover the other one, and that can, you know, very, very good synergy for Ogerpon there. So there's some good singles and even doubles. I would say that's good for doubles as well. Trying to think of some more niche for doubles. Yeah, Rillaboom would be good too. Rillaboom would be a good match there for Thundurus. Definitely. Even the it's Incarnate form. That would be a good kind of partner there. We've already gone over any sort of rain Pokemon are going to be good for that. Swift Swim Pokemon, rain Pokemon. It's going to work very, very well with this Pokemon. And then what else we got here? Heatran and Mountain make a nice partner too. Heatran doesn't quite get its usage it used to get, but that could definitely be a good partner, covering each other's weaknesses. Very, very nice synergy there. So there's quite a few that can actually work there too. So I would say they're probably the best ones I can think of right now on the spot. How about some counters? Now, we're talking about Ogerpon before. I reckon the Cornerstone would make a very, very nasty counter for Ogerpon. So, as I said, rock Pokemon, ground Pokemon. So this, even if, let's say, even if it had Terra Water, right, you can still hit it then with a Grass type move, right? And you still got his signature move as well. So that is going to be kind of nasty for, I would say that's a very good counter, Ogerpon Cornerstone. And another one, I'm thinking of some special attackers too. The speedy special attackers like Ice. How about Iron Bundle? Yeah, I'd say Iron Bundle. That's a very good counter because that's got even high base speed, and it can outspeed and just feint it very, very easily. And with super effective attacks too, with ice moves and such like that. And it's got freeze dry and stuff as well. So that's a good counter. So I'd say they're probably some good counters to watch out there. So if you're building this on your team, you need to have a counter to these Pokemon, right? That's what you need. And those are the counters that I mentioned before, or the teammates I mentioned before work well at getting around that. So let's have a look here at some last minute thoughts for Thundurus. We're almost sort of through here. I always like to look at everything. So with the Prankster set, you get Prankster Agility, Bulk Up, Nasty Plot. It's good stuff there. You don't really need Rest, Sleep, Talk. It can be a Taunter as well, and a Sub. You can get a substitute set up. You wouldn't be able to really do too much with Sub except maybe for Nasty Plot or Bulk Up. We've sort of gone over Eerie and Pulse. That's good for doubles. It does get Electric Terrain too, so you could set up your own Electric Terrain if you wanted to. And it gets both those weather moves. So it's a good support Pokemon, mainly because of... it can be a sweeper too, but mainly because of its ability Prankster. So here's a sort of shallowish kind of move ball. So you got an electric move. It doesn't really have a flying move at all, so you're kind of stuck with always using an electric move, insert maybe a grass move and a fighting move for steel. That's mostly what you're going to expect from this Pokemon. You can do like other little off-meta sets, maybe of like Charge Beam, but then it's kind of a little bit outclassed by Nasty Plot. And same as Snarl and Throat Spray. It's probably a little bit outclassed by that. And then you've got a physical set. So we sort of went over that one already, but that physical set that I made, which wasn't all that bad. You could definitely give that one a try too, if you wanted to. And there's its physical moves. You might be able to put U-turn and Volt Switch on it to confuse the opponent, but I don't know. You're sort of wasting up a slot there, and it doesn't really have a lot of... wiggle room with the moves that it needs, right? And then that's normal, the Incarnate form, and we'll have a look at the Therian form real quick. Pretty much they get the same sort of, I think they get most of exactly the same moves. I don't think there's any differences at all. It's just the abilities and the stats. I'm pretty sure they're the same. Just looking at them, yeah, they're virtually the same. So there's very, very little difference between them. The main thing is their abilities and their stats that sort of set them apart on what role they have better. I would say personally, Therian form is good in singles and good in doubles, whereas I feel like Thundurus Incarnate really shines a lot more in doubles with all this with the prankster ability and all the support moves that it has. And that's pretty much my opinion on this Pokemon. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. If you want to see a Pokemon, when we cover a Pokemon, put it below in the comment section. Check out the playlist. I've done lots of them already, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.